Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another exciting design tutorial with UXmate. In this video, we are going to learn how to use Adobe XD, how to get started with Adobe XD in a couple of minutes, right? Uh, in other videos, we have seen how to get started with Figma, how to use Figma to create designs. In this video, we'll be going through the XD. XD is another product by Adobe, right? Figma is also recently purchased by Adobe, or you can say take over by Adobe, and it was one of the biggest competitor for Adobe XD. Both of them, XD and Figma has pros and cons, and we are not going to discuss those things here because we want to just learn, and we want to keep learning, keep designing, no matter which tool we are using. As I always keep on saying, it doesn't matter which tool you are using. Are you using XD, Sketch, Figma, Photoshop, Illustrator, Paint, or even paper pencil? End of the day, it depends how you are making the experience positive for the users, how you are helping them to solve their problems or helping users to achieve their goals, right? So yes, let's jump into the tutorial. Well, before we get started with it, hope you have already subscribed to the channel. If not, then go ahead and do it now, because if you are not doing it, you are going to miss a lot of amazing design tips, techniques and tutorials in upcoming videos. Make sure also you hit the notification bell icon as well, so it will keep you notified for all our future uploads. So let's just jump into the tutorial, and let's just start with the XD. So when you get started with XD, it shows something like this. It is a home screen for XD, right, where you have access to open any existing files, create a new files, access your files which has been shared to you, and then you can manage all your links from here, and then you can see the deleted files as well, right? XD is again another cloud tool which you can store the files on the cloud, as well as you can store the files offline on your local computer as well. So let's start with a web design, right? A web canvas, you can say, right? So XD has created a page for me. So now if you see, there is a little bit difference between XD and Figma. Definitely, like, XD has been developed in a different environment, and Figma is in a completely different setup, you can say. So when we see in XD, what do we have basically is we have frames, which we call them as canvas, or artboards in XD, right? So we have our artboards, or we can refer them as frames itself, right? So we have our frames, something similar to Figma, right? So what I'll be doing, I'll not compare this with Figma. I'll just directly start with XD itself, because some of you might be there who are directly coming to the XD only, and they don't have any idea about Figma. So let's just see what XD has for us. So as always, we have a menu bar, right, where we can access all menus in the XD: file, edit, object, plugins, wave, windows, help, right? And then we have this toolbar kind of thing, where you can switch your workspace from design to prototype and to share, right? So in design mode, or in design tab, what we can do, we can basically do all our design work, do all our artwork in this design tab itself. In prototype tab, we can create interactive prototypes, right? So all those wireframings or interactions which we are going to design, those has to be done in the prototype tab, right? And then this share tab is where you can select something and share your prototypes with the with the other users, where they can go ahead and access those links in the browser, and then they can go through the prototype, right? Let's go back to the design tab and let's see what other tools we have. Okay, on the left hand side, we have all our toolbars, you can say, right, where we have the selection tool, the rectangle tool, ellipse tool, or all our basic shaping tools, right? So all the shapes, icons, designs which we are going to create are can be created using those tools. Then we have this line tool to create lines, and then pen tool, which is one of the very important tool in any design tool, in any design application, right? Then we have our text tool, and then this artboard tool, right, where we can create all artboards. and then zoom, where you can zoom in, zoom out your canvas or your artwork. You can there are a couple of ways to zoom in. So one way is you can open the zoom tool, or you can select the zoom tool and you can draw a bounding box around the artboard or around the objects which you want to frame in your viewport. Another way is you can simply click somewhere and it will zoom in to that particular point where you clicked. And then another way is to zoom out. What you can do is you can simply hit the Alt button or Option button on your keyboard and then click, right? So it basically toggles the zoom in, zoom out. You can toggle it using Alt keyboard, right? Alt key on your keyboard. Another approach to zoom in, zoom out is you can use hold the Alt button itself, and no matter if you in which tool you are, you can hold down your Alt button and you can zoom in, zoom out using just your scroll wheel. So scroll, or your gestures basically. So you can zoom in, zoom out with the scroll on your scroll wheel on your mouse, or you can use your touch gestures to if you are using a MacBook, then you can use the you can use your trackpad to zoom in, zoom out using your gestures, right? Let's see how to pan around. So what you can do is you can hold your middle mouse button, which is your scroll wheel. Just hold it and drag anywhere you want to pan your things. Alternatively, you can hold down the space and then you can click, and again then the same way which we do navigation in any other design tools, right? So you can hold down spacebar and then click, hold, and drag to pan, or you can simply hold your middle mouse button and then you can still do the same actions, right? Let's quickly see what all those tools are. I don't think we need to go and explain all those tools, because these are nothing but you can simply select it and draw it on your artboard, right? Or you can draw outside as well, but generally whatever is there on your artboard is going to be rendered, or is going to be visible in your prototypes. Okay, so whenever you select any object or any artboard, on the right hand side you can see all the properties, or all the editable fields related to your selected object. If you are selecting a canvas or artboard, you can do like all the basic stuff related, like a width and height of the canvas, x and y position of the coordinates of the artboard. Do you want it a portrait or a landscape, right? You can change those orientations of the artboard from here itself. Now when you select any other object, you might be seeing different settings or different properties here, because it is going to be your selection specific panel. So if you are not selected anything, everything is going to be disabled, because you cannot perform those actions until and unless you select something, right? So let's just select something and then we can see what all properties we have. So when we select a rectangle or any other object, based upon your selection, we'll be having those different settings. So transform is going to be common for all of the selections, but if you see the flip icons are only visible for rectangle or any other drawing elements basically. I'll just quickly plot something here, and you can see for all of those elements, no matter if it is an ellipse, triangle, or a rectangle, you will be having all those properties, right? It is again the horizontal and vertical scroll, right? So do you want to have a scroll bar in the in your frame itself or in your object? We can define those horizontal vertical scrolls using this scroll thing, and those are for the horizontal and vertical scrolls. We'll be definitely going through each and every icons in more details in those respective sessions, but in this video my focus is just to cover high levels of the XD to get started with the designing, right? So we have seen all those transform settings, right? So let's jump into the next section, which is layout, or responsive resize kind of thing. So it is basically to make your objects responsive. Whenever you change your width and height of your canvas or artboard, your objects should be automatically adapt to the width of that. So how we can do it? If you see I have to first select my artboard, and I need to make sure I have enabled responsive resize for the artboard as well, right? By default it is going to be a disabled thing, so we need to do it. Okay, I want it enabled, right? Then what I can do, I can select the individual elements, and then I can toggle the properties of responsive resize for the selected object. And what I'll be doing, I'll be, let's say, go to the manual mode where I have more controls, right? In auto is, XD automatically detects if we should, change the height and width of the object. But in manual, we can decide, do you want a fixed width, fixed height object, or, component? Do you want, a variable height width component? Okay, let's just, remove the fixed width selection for now. And let's keep it a constant on the top and left, right? So left and top would be frozen, right? So let's just see now when I try to resize this, if you see this rectangle, it is automatically changing its width, right? Because we have enabled responsive resize, right? So next thing is about scrolling. So when it depends again upon your selection, but when you select your artboard, you can change the scrolling. Do you want a vertical scroll in it or no? You can say, okay, I don't want any scroll, I want everything to be static, so you can say none. But generally it comes with the vertical scroll. So whenever you change height of your artboard, you can see this dashed line, which is basically your viewport height, right? So in this case we have defined viewport height as a 1080p, but most of the time it is not the actual case. So we may change it to somewhere around, let's say, 750 or 720, or you can determine what is going to be the available height when you have different sections of the browser open. But let's just you can do it manually as well as, or you can do it precise using those input fields here and type in the whatever number you want, right? So as of now, let's just ignore this. So I'll just resize the frame or artboard to make sure we don't have any scrolls. Then we can change the appearance or of the selected object. In this case we have selected the artboard, so we can change the background color of the artboard. And then we can have the layout or square grids. So when we enable the grids, it basically gives us capability to create the our custom grid. So by default it comes with the 12 column grid. We can change it as per our requirement, but as per industry standard we should always be keeping it as a 12 column grid. We can change the column width as well, but I generally prefer to keep it as a default one. I just go ahead and toggle the what we say margins on the left and right side, right? So we can define margins from left, right, top, bottom, and we can also define only from the left, right. Let's say as of now I want, but in grids it doesn't matter, top and bottom, only left and right is important. So you can change those using this, like left, right. But yeah, I generally keep same margin on both sides. So let me just make it somewhere around 20 pixels, right? So it automatically adapts to the column width. But if you want to manually set the column width, you can definitely do that. So let me just hide the grids as of now. Let me select the rectangle again, and then now you can see in the appearance we have changed the we have different settings. So you can change the opacity, you can change the blending mode, like how the colors should be behave with the background or foreground color, most of the time backgrounds. We can change the border radius or corners of this rectangle. We can do it from here as well as, or you can if you want to be precise, you can type in corner radius or corner border radius from this thing. You can do it for each sides as well, if you want to achieve if you want to achieve some sort of looks where you do want or you do want column width on particular sites, right? So using this you can achieve those fancy shapes, right? Let me just increase this a little bit. Right, so you can create those fancy shapes using the border radius or the corner radius, right, which again come under appearance. Now next thing in the appearance is let me just reset it. Okay, next thing in the appearance is fill color. Do you want any fill color to your selected object, or you can disable the fill as well. So in that case it will not treat it as a filled object, it will only have the border or the stroke, you can say, right? So you can enable, disable the fill, or you can set the fill to whatever colors you want, right? Then we have border color and all, like a little bit about the border settings, like what size you want. Do you want a dashed border? Do you want, like, you can adjust the gaps of the border. Then you can define how do you want the corners. Do you want a sharp corner, rounded corners, or or if it is, you can adjust the cap as well, like do you want a square cap, round cap, or basically you can make all those settings or those adjustments here. Right, if you want effects where we can define the inner shadow as well as the drop shadow, right? And then we have background blur and object blur effects, which would be learning in upcoming lessons, because I don't want to put everything in a single session. So yeah, so I guess guys, that's all you have to be aware of to getting started with the design. So let's just quickly create a design just using the rectangles, or a wireframe just using the rectangles, right? So let me have a navigation bar here. Right, and then let me just copy this here, and we can scale it. Let's say we have some sort of section here, right? And then we have a play area on the right hand side. Or let's just try to mimic the layout of the XD itself, right? So let me just get rid of those. So we have this as a menu bar, right? Let me just reduce the height a little bit. Then we have this tab bar where we see all those different tabs. Then we have a menu bar on the left hand side, or toolbar on the left hand side. Right, something like this. And then we have this assets panel, where when we create libraries, or when we create components in our document, we can access those assets from this assets panel. Then what we have this entire play area till somewhere here. Okay, I'll just try to pick colors from those areas itself. You can use to open your eyedropper tool, or color picker. And then we have one more panel on the right hand side, right? Then we can further create the inner segments, maybe using line, or using inner frames, right? So with this you can basically start creating your designs just in matter of minutes. Right, I can just adjust the width of this. I hope guys you have enjoyed this video. Apart from this, we have videos on Figma, as well as we have videos on After Effects, where we learn about motion graphics and getting started with After Effects. So I hope you will like the content in those other aspects as well. So till then, subscribe to the channel. Whatever doubts, suggestions, feedback you have, be sure to write them in the comment box. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Stay tuned, keep learning, keep designing. See you in next video.